All right, shalom, shalom. All right, before I get started, as always, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, waking up the hopeful elect and risking your lives and your freedoms to do so. You know, it's always obvious, we almost up out of this place, this hellhole, all right, Babylon. But this is gonna be a real quick lesson dealing with the Vice President Kamala Harris, butchering the scriptures as they often do, right? And just gonna play the clip of what she said and then get some scriptures to correctly break down what is meant by what she said, all right? Because when it comes to the scriptures, all right, these heathen nations, they don't have any common ground, with Israel, right? Right? Israel and these other nations will never see eye to eye, all right? We'll never have peace amongst each other. We'll never be neighborly. We'll never be brotherly. All right, we'll never get along, period. All right, because that's a construct of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, the Most High created the idea of racism, all right, or segregation, separatism, right? That's a construct of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, so and that's just how it's gonna be. All right, until the kingdom comes, and even in the kingdom, it's gonna be order. All right, it's gonna be the Israelites as the governing nation, all right? And all these other, nations outside of Israel will be slaves in the kingdom of heaven, simply put, all right? But let me play this clip where, as you can read, I'll read it first, right? It says, watch VP Kamala Harris facing backlash after saying getting COVID max, should I say, is the very essence of what the Bible tells us when it says love thy neighbor. And that's off. All right. And love thy neighbor ain't got nothing to do with no code 91, potion. All right. It has nothing to do with that. Right. But see, this is how Satan moves. He moves with those soft words, and yeah, they'll take certain sound bites, certain things from the scriptures, right, and try to mingle it into their agenda, right? And that's why these heathens, they have to be showed, they have to be taught, all right? They have to be taught correctly. Now, in fact, right, dealing with this chick, all right, Kamala Harris, right, one, she's a woman, so she shouldn't be trying to teach any scriptures, all right? If she's to learn anything, she's to learn it from her man, all right, which, as the story goes, her husband is an Edomite, I believe, a so-called Jew, so she struck out on every side anyway. But for the women, all right, they're not supposed to be teaching no Bible, teaching any scriptures, all right? That's the duty of a man, all right? All the men were prophets, right? Because why? Because we're the first line of defense, all right? The man is the first line of defense. And moreover, that's the order, and that's what the Most High Yahweh deals with. He deals with order. Right, when you read Corinthians, 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, it gives you the order. And I'll just get it real quick, just so I'm not making it up or saying something of my own, myself. We speak this way because we're conveying, right? We're conveying what we read out the scriptures. But see, to the world, it comes off, harsh and, bold and brash and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's all truth. You know, hey, you can't gainsay truth. You know, but real quick, this is 1 Corinthians 11, and I'll start at 1. It says, "Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach." This is Paul speaking, by the way. All right. It says, "Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances." Another word of ordinances is the covenant, commandment. You know, things that's written therein in the law. You know, you want to try to do those things and keep those things to the best of your ability. All right. It says, "As I delivered them to you, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach." All right, so the head of every, specifically Israelite man, because as I stated, you know, this book is written by Israelites and for Israelites. All right, so every Israelite man, and that's who Yahushua is the head of, and that's why you read in Matthew the 1st chapter, around the 18th verse, or actually maybe it's the 21st verse, where you know, it says that Yahushua came to save his people specifically, all right, because he's only dealing with the nation of Israel, all right. So reading on, it says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man, Israelite man, is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is the Most High, Yahweh." See that? So going back to, you know, a prophet, all right, that's why all the prophet were men, okay, because that's the order, right? And the men are set up to prophesy and to teach, right? They're women, all right, they're children, all right, and the woman just kind of nurtures those same ideals, all right, into the child. She you know, or further backs up what the man has set forth, all right. So, matter of fact, something else I wanted to get, because I said, yeah, a woman should not be teaching, right? So what's that? You know, she called herself because she, she missed president. She thinks she has some type of, leeway or authority, all right, to speak on the Bible, when in actuality she doesn't. And that's why she sounded like the fool that she did and does, because she don't know anything, right? This is 1 Timothy 2:12. "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence." All right. So she shouldn't be teaching when it comes to the scriptures. All right. She should not be teaching. If it's something about cooking up some macaroni, or whatever brother's favorite meal is, whatever that is, all right, yeah, you can teach and school other women on that. But as far as this Bible, just leave that alone, you know. So let's go back and see what she has to say concerning the scriptures. So I can, all right.
I do believe that the act of getting vaccinated is the very essence of what the Bible tells us when it says, "Love thy neighbor." Right? Because what we know is, one can ask, well, who is one's neighbor? Is it the person who lives to my left, lives to my right? I know them, may borrow a cup of sugar, right? But what we know it means when we talk about love thy neighbor is that, yes, it may be the person next door, and it may be the man on the side of the road, and it may be a perfect stranger. And in the face of that stranger, you see a friend. That's what this is about. And so by getting vaccinated, you are loving your neighbor. I do believe that the act of getting vaccinated...
That don't even make sense. How can a perfect stranger be your neighbor? Like, come on now. And in the scriptures, when it's dealing with your neighbor, that's dealing with your fellow Israelite man, all right? The strangers are just that. They're strangers. They're outside. Okay, they're outside of the temple. They're profane, in fact. All right, real quick. This is yeah. This is Revelation 11 and 1. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of Yahweh and the altar and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread under foot 42 months. All right, so, all right, the Gentiles, all right, the other nations, all right, the Lord said don't measure them, right, because they're outside the temple, they're profane, they have nothing to do with the covenant that we made with, or should I say, have nothing to do with the covenant that was made between Yahweh and the Israelites. All right, they don't have nothing to do with that. Just to further prove that, this is Amos, all right, 3, and I'll start at 1. It says, Hear this word that Yahweh have spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only, all right, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Right? And that's how you know you're an Israelite, man, because, or that's how you can spotlight who the Israelites are, because they're gonna catch the most hell. And they're catching the most hell because of their iniquities, of their their bad deeds that they did in the previous lifetime. You know, we made a great offenses against, our power. All right. We, instead of following after our power, we follow after the other nations in their way. Because of that, all right, with Yahweh being a jealous power, he basically gave us up to those, those devices, and we were taken. We were taken by it and by these other nations, right? Because since we didn't want Yahweh Shem Yahushai to rule over us, the Lord, basically allowed for these other nations to rule over us, because we were, chasing after them and following after their way. So he gave us, what we wanted, right? He gave us exactly what we wanted. But so that was just to prove, that the Heavenly Father's only dealing with Israel, right? And we're the only ones responsible, right, when it is concerning the scriptures. So going back to the term neighborly, right, or, being neighborly, that's only dealing with a fellow Israelite, all right? And moreover, right, even if you want to play that route and say, okay, yeah, each and everybody is my neighbor. Anybody I turn to or look at, all right, whether they're of other nation or not, they're still my neighbor. Okay. Now, let's say that, but yet you have this this Code 91 Max that's it's been known to be it's killing people, right? If it's not killing people, it's leaving them with, just different type of ailments, right? And or you may actually receive the Code 91 by way of taking the max. When they say, all right, trust the science, believe in the science. Oh, if you take the vaccine, you will not catch the Code 91. You won't catch it. Yet there's many reports, all right, after the fact, when they say these things, that come out showing that people are catching the max by way of the vaccination. You know what I'm saying? Or dying off or receiving type of illness. So I say that all to say, that's not showing, the government is not showing themselves to be very, very neighborly, because, right, you're supposed to love thy neighbor, right? I mean, you're supposed to show love, right? Them, all right, forcing everyone to get vaccinated is not showing love, right? That's showing violence. That's showing that they're a tyrant, all right? Because they say that you free, right? But yet they're forcing you to take something that, quite frankly, they know is harmful, all right, to the American people, or harmful to anyone, right? It's highly likely that, the results or the side effects that come from receiving this mask is not going to be good, So how is that neighborly? How is that showing love, right? Because the scriptures say this. This is Romans 13 and 10. It says, love worketh no ill to his neighbor, right? Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law, all right? So, love worketh no ill to his neighbor. So if that's the case, meaning, if you're being neighborly, right, you're not going to do anything to cause harm to your neighbor, all right? You're gonna look out for your neighbor. We're supposed to be our brother's keeper, right? We're supposed to keep our Israelite brethren in the way, in the correct way, which is basically repenting and following after Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right? Not snitching, right? Snitching on people that you suspect doesn't have the max, right? Or suggesting that you should get the max, for these the so-called leaders of our people, the LeBron James and Denzel Washington, Jesse Jackson, whomever, TD Snakes, right? All these Oprah, okay, all these characters, right? They are not wholeheartedly speaking against it, right? What's it? Spike Lee, right? They're not speaking against receiving this max. They're all for it, and they're all for it because 9 times out of 10 they're paid off, and if not, it's that they are basically they're all puppets for the so-called white man at the end of the day. All right, so let's go back. Go back here because I want to hear something else. I thought it was another point she said.
I do believe that the act of getting vaccinated is the very essence of what the Bible tells us when it says, love thy neighbor. Right? Because
See, now you can hear, I hear some MBs, it sound like, yeah, she's probably talking to, maybe the whole group wasn't black, but it's some church going, black folks up in there. So that's why she even, that was the reason for her even bringing out this scripture or relating it to the Bible in any way, because she's trying to appease her audience. You know what I'm saying? And they know, all right, 2/3 of our people are simple as all hell. And, got their head stuck up the, white man's rear end. And, they go to church and pay their tithes, but don't know nothing about the scriptures. All right, so it's easy to seduce, all right, 2/3 of our people because they don't have any understanding. All right, so when she said, get receiving a vaccine, it's the very essence. Like, cut that out. Like, don't ever pick the Bible up ever again. You know what I'm saying? But this shows that Esau and his cohorts, all right, they're all Confederate, all right, against the nation of Israel, and they'll do and say anything, right, to get you to fall. What's that script? This is Psalms There's a few I want to get in Psalms. Let's get this first. This is Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. In this case, her heart, right? Because, hey, even the things she says, not really even her words. She just pushing the agenda of the elites. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's war in her heart, all right? And the ones that told her to say that, all right? Well, the top elites, all right? This, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, DuPonts, the Gettys, so on and so forth. The top elite international banking families who are Edomites, all right? And Edom has a perpetual hatred against Israel, right? He has a perpetual hatred against you so-called Negroes, Blacks, and Native Americans, all right? So he's playing for keeps, right? When our people think, that they free and that you have some leeway, you really don't, right? And the so-called white man, he's gonna show you very soon, all right, who's running the show. He's gonna show you who's the devil. I'll put it that way. He's going to show you, in fact, that he is the devil. All right, it's going to be clear. Read that again. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. So as she's saying that, she's called herself pulling a precept, well, not a precept, but, trying to relay, or tie the Bible in to her little speech there. It's you can see it's all lies, it's all lies, right? And that's why the scriptures say never trust thy enemy, right? That's Sirach 12 and 10. There's never a time that you should trust these other nations, right? Another script I want to get. This is Psalms 50. 16. But unto the wicked, the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. God. You know what I'm saying? And she's tied into that term, all right, the wicked, because again, she's doing the bidding of the wicked, all right? She's joined unto them. She's confederate with them, all right? So for her to declare or, to say anything concerning the scriptures, right, it shouldn't even be so, right? Because that's what the Most High is basically saying. What do you have to do with my Bible? You don't have nothing to do with my Bible. You have nothing to do with the laws, statutes, commandments that I set forth. So why are you speaking on them? You know what I'm saying? Well, hey, when you deal with the Bible is really an A and B conversation. You know what I'm saying? Between Yahweh and the Israelites. All right, everybody else, you have no business here. You know what I'm saying? You have no business or no input, right? Concerning what the scriptures say or what they mean. Okay, you can't break down, right, the deep dark sayings of the scripture. You can't break down the mysteries of the Bible. All right, that's not for you. All right, that's for the Israelites, and the Israelites basically have to get in their rightful position, and then the kingdom of heaven will teach you the scriptures, right, correctly. You know what I'm saying? In the kingdom of heaven, the Bible is going to be the law of the land, or hell, the whole universe, right? That's going to be the new law. It ain't going to be these old penal codes and all this nonsense, all right? the Most High is going to establish order in the kingdom of heaven. But I think that's all I had, man. It's just, when I saw that clip, it was just irksome. It's very cringe-worthy. When you hear these heathens, false pastors, prophets, like all these characters, man. It's just when they take something from the Bible and, try to say it mean this and mean that, and you just be like, no, man, that's wrong. Like, where are you getting that stuff from? That's dead wrong. But, hey, that's also set forth to ultimately, edify the elect and to show who the true prophets of the Lord are. All right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakudash, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.